A big story at the moment in the UK is um, Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan are members of the royal family, or were members of the royal family. They've now left. So everybody is talking about this situation of them stepping back from their royal duties. And a lot of people are very negative about it. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I have a lot of sympathy for them. And I think they're doing the right thing. So, why do I think they're doing the right thing? First of all, some background. Harry is sixth in line to the throne in the UK. Sixth in line. Very unlikely that he would ever be king. The Queen Elizabeth II is the current monarch. Her son, Harry's father, Prince Charles, is next in line, so he will be the next king. Harry's older brother, Prince William, is next in line, so second in line. Then it's Prince William's children, George, Charlotte, Louis, and then Harry, sixth in line. So very unlikely that he would ever be king. So he can leave. The royal family there's a lot of them, basically. They're not going to, well, we will miss him. He's very popular, but if he needs to leave, he needs to leave. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because there is some negativity about Meghan and Harry, the fact that they want to leave. But I have a lot of sympathy for them, I think. Okay, but there's also there's another part of the background we need to talk about, or I want to talk about, and that is Harry's mother, Diana. Now, she died in a car crash in Paris. Harry was 12 years old. Now, prior to that, she was divorced from Harry's father. And what you need to know is she talked about the marriage to Prince Charles, and she explained that he had an affair before they were married. So before they got married, Charles was seeing a married woman, Camilla Parker Bowles. And Diana had to negotiate this 3-person marriage. A very famous interview where she says, when asked about the marriage, she said, well, there were 3 people in the marriage. Her, Charles, and Camilla. And so she was used. She was chosen. Just as a lot of royal families do, she was chosen to provide children. Charles, it doesn't look like he was in love with her. It looks like a marriage of convenience, which is quite normal in royal circles. And so, from this point of view, Harry is probably perhaps looking at this, wondering, because of the tragedy of his mother's death. If you think back to the way the royal family used her to provide children, you might be, correct in thinking, well, he needs to protect his family. And so leaving makes sense. But also, there's already some negativity about Meghan, because she does seem like a runaway bride. She does seem like she just leaves. But I think there's something else here. There's something else here. The situation with Diana, Harry's mother, when I think about it, I always wonder why she was in Paris, why she was in the car. And I'm not in any conspiracy theory way where people think it was an assassination. I'm not going to talk about that. But she was being pushed away by the royal family. She was being pushed away. Harry is going away. But Diana was being pushed away. And now, who was pushing her away? And why did she end up in that tragic situation? The people who were pushing her away, well, number one, it was the Queen. Apparently didn't like Diana. Number two, Charles. She was an inconvenience. He didn't, he never looked good because she was more popular. So Charles always looked bad. And number three, third group, would be the British press. Treated Diana quite badly, hounded her. And so Harry sees all this. And so what's he thinking? He's struggling to deal with his mother's death. And slowly he's seeing, okay, so my father was having an affair before he got married and still continued during the marriage. He doesn't look convincing in interviews when he's asked if he loves her. And there's lots of other rumours flying around. Now, if it was you or I, and we're thinking, oh, my father had that affair, and one could say used a young woman to have children with for the royal family, you would feel very negative towards the royal family, and you would feel very negative towards your father. I think that would be the most sane, most normal people would have that reaction. It's a authentic, real reaction. And it's there, it's all the information is there, and he must see it. He must be aware of those things. So I think, while a lot of people think it's Meghan who wants to leave, sometimes someone who needs to leave needs to have another reason that helps them. Just helps them, it makes it easier to leave. And I think that's what Meghan is for Harry. Obviously he has now a family. They have a family together, but I think Harry is still making this decision for himself. I don't think he's just doing it for Meghan or doing it for his son. I think he's doing it for himself. I think it's better for him to leave because of what happened to his mother. Rather publicly, he's always shown some dislike of the press. He's never shown dislike of his father, but there might be something there. But I really feel that Meghan is his excuse to leave. And something else I noticed, the royal family's been very aware and very careful about engaging with the British people. William especially, William and Kate are important figures in the royal family now. And it's noticeable how William is doing a lot of work to connect to the British people. He's running some new charities about mental health. And he's very, I mean, the Queen is famous for being very neutral. And I mean, no one heard her speak for 20 years. She hardly speaks. She doesn't speak to the press. She doesn't really make that many speeches where at events for ordinary people. There is the Christmas message, of course, but for the most part, she's always been quite private. But now we have Kate and William really engaging, trying to connect with the British people, because they are going to be the future of the royal family. And I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to take control. I'm not saying they're trying to take over. They're not trying to take over, but I think it's with the Queen's blessing, they are the future. So they need to connect with the British people. And if you're going to, not to be cynical, but if you're just going to think about this, they should be doing this. They're an important part of British culture, British society, and they should connect with the British people and with young people especially, and develop a profile and develop those connections. Harry has disconnected by leaving. He's disconnected from the British public, the British people. And yet, by leaving, maybe this will be a new way of connecting, i.e. he will become more accessible. But I'm a bit concerned that they're going global, it's part of globalism. It's like they want to have a relationship everywhere. They're ambitious in that regard. I don't know. But my final take on this is I really feel there's a lot of controversial subjects about the royal family, and especially a lot of them sort of connect to Charles, his father, and I feel he's probably doing the right thing by leaving. And I'm not, this is all just conjecture. But I think the general public and the media as well has blamed Meghan. But I don't think it's Meghan's fault. I think she's good for him. And I think he probably needed to go and have a break. May return, but I think it's quite a positive thing. I think it's good for him. I do. Okay, that was just my thoughts on Harry and Meghan. And I'll probably talk again about this, just one of the subjects. I mean, it's such a big subject in the UK. Huge. It seems to be everywhere in the media. But I think I don't feel that negative about it. I feel quite positive for Harry and Meghan, which is unusual for me. I'm not actually a big royal fan, but being a traditionalist, yeah, maybe I am. I think the Queen has done a great job for the country. Okay, so I'll stop there, and hope you have a good day, and I'll upload another subject perhaps tomorrow. Okay, cheerio.